Hi everybody, my name is Julia Smith. I identify as she, her. I am the manager for youth basketball for our community relations department at BSE Global.
Hi everyone, my name is Brianna Williams. I identify as she, her, and I'm a clinician for the youth basketball program here at Brooklyn Nets.
Hi everyone, my name is Gina Santoriello. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a senior account executive with our group sales and youth sports development team. So my high school had a sports management program, so I got into working into athletics that way, and then I went to school for sport management, and I was very fortunate to get a job within my university in our athletic department. I ran one of our hockey facilities, or not one, our hockey facility for 4 years. I was assistant manager while I was going through school. So I got to learn a lot of the event management side, the sales side, program building, all of that, and that's how I decided I wanted to work in professional sports, but in the youth spaces a little bit more, in the event spaces a little bit more, which then led me to all of my other jobs. The Nets are my fourth team that I've been with. I started with the Cavaliers in Cleveland. I went to minor league men's soccer and then women's soccer in Louisville, Kentucky, the Sacramento Kings, and then now I'm with the Nets. And through all of that, the passion for working in the youth and the community, that's just sort of what's come up. So I'm here with the Brooklyn Nets to build a better partnership and relationship with our youth basketball department, so we can impact more folks in the community.
I've been playing basketball all my life, so that's how I kind of got into the sports aspect of it. And because I took basketball to a college level, and when I took basketball to a college level, my coach at the time was like, oh, I think you do great being a coach in itself. And so I decided to take on that role. I got the opportunity to work with Julia. So she was one of my first coaching positions that I was able to do. And so then from there, she got me to work with Brooklyn Nets. And then I've been here for the last 5-6 years, just working with kids. And it's probably like the best job I've ever had. And I love it dearly because one of these days I'm going to be a doctor, hopefully.
Oh, yes.
So how old are you right now, though? You're a certified what?
I'm a certified EMT, so that's just part of my thing, yeah. So I like health and I love kids, so yeah, close together for me.
I played basketball overseas first. And between playing basketball overseas and college, Felicia Leggett, who right now is the head coach for Syracuse University. So her coach, I worked with a couple of the basketball camps there. So her coach told me how important it was for me to coach, and I didn't really want to coach. Like, these kids are not listening to me, and thought I was very good at it. And so I just kind of worked my way up, and you know, when I came back, I coached basketball, but I also wanted to do youth development. So I actually worked for Neutral Zone years ago. I was a director for that, and then kind of just mid-year or mid-life, I would say right now, my colleague is a CEO for New York Liberty, and she was like, listen, you'd be great over here. I know you want to change careers. So I changed careers from youth development to sales. Did really well because I knew a lot of youth programs and stuff that I want to come to the Liberty games. And then the position of manager for youth basketball to bring it back to what I used to doing. And so that's how, in a nutshell, how I got where I'm at today. But it's still around youth, we're still doing stuff for the youth.
The representation of the LGBTQ community in athletics is like, I don't know, sometimes it's really condensed and sometimes it's not. And you have to do a lot of fighting to make sure that, you know, people are being spoken up for, you have the right representation, people aren't being forgotten. Whenever I worked in soccer, there were only 2 queer people in the office. I was one of them, and then the one got fired, and it was me, myself, and I. And it was a predominantly white male-dominated organization. Not a lot of them, you know, knew anything about the LGBTQ community, and I was just constantly like educating, always making sure I'm standing up for people. Like, we worked in women's soccer, you know, you'd think we'd have some more resources, and we just didn't. So it's hit or miss. Some organizations are really great at what they do, and celebrating Pride nights and, you know, making sure that they're not rainbow washing and just saying, hey, we're going to put up this rainbow logo, and that's just one night, and then the other 364 days, the community doesn't matter. But there are some organizations who do that, but we're not one of them. I think we're pretty good at what we do.
I feel as if they have a community where we're all heard, if you can say, and like you can have a conversation about things, and it's not like you're just pointing out who I am as just like saying, oh yeah, they're gay and they just be over there by themselves. No, it's more like a community, and you can always feel like nobody's just like picking at you like, hey, yeah. It's more like, oh, you're a person. Oh, I see you. How are you?
I played basketball overseas, but I played in the 90s. So, and I played overseas. And so, as you know, a lot of countries that don't embrace, right? So I kind of had to keep a lot of stuff. I had to kind of stuff it to myself when I was overseas, as opposed to coming over here, and being here and being able to being praised, being me and unapologetically. So I had that experience playing, and through my work, some were embraced from, some jobs weren't. And as Bree says, like, I think this is the job for me that's been most inclusive, or try to be inclusive, right? We don't always get it right, especially if you're not, you don't know what we go through, right? And I think someone told me yesterday, like, same thing with Gina, we're just us, and you gotta take it or leave it, right? Obviously there are laws against, discrimination, things like that, but we don't really feel that way at the job. Like, if they have an ERG, they hear us out. We get to trying to be more part of the process of stuff that they do for the LGBT, so that we don't just throw the flag and that's it. And for us to be able to be heard and treated, equally, I think it's probably the best experience I've had in that aspect working in campus.
Yeah,
As the Ally, they do a lot of work around those particular issues. I know right now on both of our teams, we don't have anybody that identifies as transgender. So I really don't know what the league stands on that.
Athlete Ally, they do a lot of work on it, and they're doing like smaller case studies, but it's more at the like high school to college level, not necessarily pro or semi-pro just yet. But they have a lot of really good resources for some of those case studies, and to have those conversations and how to educate people on having those conversations. Really, really great resource.
Of course, yes.
That's something I've seen that's changed. Even like now, we speak about the March Madness going on. The women have been like put on a higher pedestal now. Usually, never the fact that we're everywhere like, oh my gosh, I'm tuning in. But now you hear everybody talking about, oh my gosh, yes, I'm gonna tune into this game. Oh, you saw Adrian Reese? Oh, you saw Kate? Now it's like, oh, it's the topic now, instead of us being oh yeah, the women's game's going on. No, now it's like, oh, the women's game's going on. I'm catching that or not? What's going on? And I never grew up like that. So it was always like, even when I was playing, it was always, oh yeah, let's have the women's game. 5 people in the bleachers besides my parents.
And coaches are getting better at coaching women. Still, there is a high rate of girls that drop out after 10th grade because of those factors. Because coaches don't know how to coach women, right? Or coach people, right? Just because you can coach, just because you play basketball, tell everybody, oh, you should be. But just because I play the sport doesn't mean I'll be a good coach. I mean, I'm pretty good, but I mean, you can't tag me that way, right? And so I think they're starting to get it, right? They're starting to get it, starting to treat us equal. Yes, the game is different. Just like the game from college men's to pro men's, or the farm team in the middle, it's always a different level, right? Women have the best fundamentals, and most women graduated from college. So if they get injured or something should happen, they can't play the sport anymore, they have that job, right? So we're also smart, right? We also finish school, because obviously there's that whole pay situation too, like we're not making millions. So I can't play basketball for 3 years, make $50 million and then just chill, right? So we have to work after that as well. So we're getting there. It's just like anything else that's marginalized. It gets better. It might not be fast as you want it to go, and at your pace and fair. So I don't want to say, yeah, it's great. We're not. We have a lot of work to do. But it is elevating. It is getting better. Women are at the forefront now. We got college coaches making millions of dollars now before they were not, right? So, and now they're advocating for women to get paid what men get paid for. I don't know if you guys know who Smush Parker is.
Which one?
Smush. He played with Kobe, God bless him, like back in the early 2000s or whatever. He told me one time, he said, listen, he was in the G League, got bumped up for 2 games. He made $75,000 a game. These girls were making $30,000 at the time for a whole season. Not only that, women still have to go overseas and make most of them. So men play 9 months out of the year if you get to the playoffs. Women play 12 months out of the year, have babies, have families, yes. So we're not there yet, but we're at least we're going up and we're not static.
I have a thought on it too, on the business side of the sport. The fact that we're getting a lot of league support coming in on like employee resource groups, and that they've created like league-wide employee resource groups to then like funnel into the teams is something that didn't exist whenever I started in my professional sports career, which was only 4.5, 5 years ago. We had an ERG. I was the chair of it, didn't know how to be the chair of an ERG, but now that there's a lot of like support coming from the league level to like really implement, hey, ABC team, like we need you to support your employees and have those open spaces and open conversations. It's definitely changed the way that I come to work and how I show up, right? Because I know that I've got Julia, I've got Bree, I've got people in my space who are like, okay, we know what's up, we're here, like there's no hiding around things. Like I was talking about with the soccer team earlier, like that was a little dicey, being the only queer person there of like a 40-person office. But I figured it out, like you get to watch the industry develop. And it's been really nice because we can be authentically ourselves and not like, I'm not worried that I'm not gonna get hired by another team because I'm, with the LGBTQ ERG, the co-chair, like that's not an issue for me, and it's not something that like I feel like I have to hide in my professional space, which is really nice to have.